Welcome to the Planetary Interaction tutorial. In this video, we will manufacture biofuels using raw materials extracted from a temperate planet. In order to do so, we will need to learn how to create a colony, manage the supply chain, and move our produced commodities from the planet. The function of a planetary colony is to supply resources that are valuable to the pilots of New Eden. Multiple colonies can be established to produce increasingly advanced and more profitable goods. Before you begin colonizing a planet, you will need to have a command center in your ship's cargo hold. Command centers can be purchased from the market in most regions. You'll also need some ISK to pay for construction and planetary customs tax. You will also need to train the remote sensing skill in order to scan for a suitable location on a planet. This skill can be purchased from the market in most regions and is also available as a mission reward during the tutorial process. Now that we have a temperate command center in our cargo hold, we need to find a suitable temperate planet to colonize. Command centers are specific to different planetary environments. Before you deploy your command center, it is important to find an area close to or in between the planetary resources that you wish to extract. To scan for resources, select the scan function and then the type of resource that you wish to scan for. A heat map will be displayed over the planet, highlighting areas where resources are available. Warmer colors will highlight areas of high concentration, and cooler colors will highlight areas of low concentration. You can also adjust the scanning slider to get a clearer view of the distribution of available resources. When you have decided on a suitable area based on your scan results, select the Build menu and then select your command center. Placing the icon over the planet and clicking will then deploy your command center. When you are satisfied with your new building location, press the Submit button to finalize construction on the planet. You can make several changes without submitting as long as you submit your changes when you are done. When highlighted, you can see that the command center is generating power and CPU. This is important as every structure and link relies upon these resources in order to function. Command centers can also be upgraded later in your colony's development. Now that you've placed a command center on the planet's surface, you are ready to deploy an extractor control unit within range of your chosen planetary resources. In this tutorial, we have scanned for carbon compounds, and with these scan results, we are now able to position our extractor control unit just outside the area we wish to extract from. We must ensure that the sphere of influence for the extractor control unit will include our chosen resources. After submitting your build changes, you will be charged for the construction cost of your building. You can then highlight the extractor control unit and begin surveying for deposits. When surveying, you may select the appropriate number of extractor head units and their extraction radius. Your extractor head should be placed in the highest density areas, whilst also ensuring that your extraction head uptake areas do not overlap and cause interference. To ensure that your extractor heads do not overlap and interfere with each other, you can either move them or adjust the uptake area to ensure that all extraction heads are operating at maximum efficiency. Once you have chosen the program duration and are satisfied with the deployment of your extractor heads, you can activate the extraction program you have designed. As you can see from the extraction cycle graph, the longer you extract from the same site, the less you will typically gain per cycle. Therefore, it is important to adjust your extractor heads over time in order to ensure you do not deplete the selected deposit. Be aware that planetary resources deplete faster if a greater number of players harvest in proximity to your own. However, resources do regenerate slowly over time. Now that you're extracting resources, it's time to learn how to manufacture raw materials into valuable commodities. Simply deploy a basic industry facility between your extractor and your command center and submit your build changes. When you highlight your factory, you will now be able to select a schematic for production. In this tutorial, we plan to process our carbon compounds into biofuels. Before we can begin production, we need to link our biofuels factory to a carbon compounds extractor. It is advisable to link from your extractor control unit to a storage unit, in this case the command center, and from there to the processor so that no resources are wasted. To do this, highlight a structure you want to link and select the Create Link icon, or right-click on a structure and create link. Drag the link to the structure you want to be linked and submit your build order. Note that links also require power grid and CPU, so it's best to make sure your structures aren't too far away and wasting command center resources. Once the structures are linked, you need to route commodities between them. To do this, highlight the output structure and select Products. Here you can select the quantity of product, often the maximum value. With the output structure highlighted, click Create a Route and click on the destination. In this tutorial, we have now routed our carbon compounds to our biofuels factory and can now see the factory progress as it gathers resources before commencing a production cycle. At some point in your production chain, you'll need to store your products, either mid-production chain or at the end of the production line. To do so, simply deploy a storage facility building, then link and route anything you need to be stored there. When your items are in storage, they will often need to be moved into a factory or prepared for off-world transport. To move items out of storage, highlight the storage facility and select Expedite Transfer. Here you can select where the items should be moved to and in what quantities you wish to move them. Once you've created your items and moved them to your command center, it's time to blast them into space. To do this, highlight the command center and select Launch. Simply add the goods you wish to export into the payload, noting that the larger the payload, the more ISK is required to perform the launch. When you're ready, blast the cargo into space, open your journal, and warp to the bookmark location to retrieve the loot from the cargo rocket. Blasting cargo into space is a one-way method of transport. A more cost-efficient and two-way method is to use the customs office orbiting the planet. To use the customs facility, you must build a launch pad in order to send and receive transports. You can also monitor your planet colonies remotely, using the Science and Industry tab when you have trained the appropriate skill levels, depending on your distance from the planets. So concludes this tutorial on planetary interaction.